In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. So God sets forth parables for men, so that they may bear them in mind. Such are the similitudes which we propound to men, that they may reflect. One time 2 men were washing in a pool. Under some extraordinary influences, they lost their senses, and when they opened their eyes, they saw that it had transported them to a strange land. It was such that with its perfect order, it was like a country, or rather a town, or a palace. They looked around themselves in complete bewilderment. If it was looked at in one way, a vast world was apparent. If in another, a well-ordered country, and if in another, a fine town. And if it was looked at still in another way, it was a palace which comprised a truly magnificent world. Traveling around this strange world, they observed it, and saw that creatures of one sort were speaking in a fashion, but they did not understand their language. Nevertheless, it was understood from their signs that they were performing important works and duties. One of the 2 men said to his friend, "This strange world must have someone to regulate it, and this orderly country must have a lord, and this fine town an owner, and this finely made palace a master builder. We must try to know him, for it is understood that the one who brought us here was he. If we do not recognize him, who will help us? What can we await from these impotent creatures whose language we do not know and who do not heed us? Moreover, surely one who makes a vast world in the form of a country, town, and palace, and fills it from top to bottom with wonderful things, and embellishes it with every sort of adornment, and decks it out with instructive miracles, wants something from us, and from those that come here. We must get to know him and find out what he wants." The other man said, "I do not believe it, that there is a person such as the one you speak of, and that he governs this whole world on his own." His friend replied to him, "If we do not recognize him and remain indifferent towards him, there is no advantage in it at all. And if it is harmful, its harm will be immense. Whereas if we try to recognize him, there is little hardship involved, and if there is benefit, it will be great. Therefore, it is in no way sensible to remain indifferent towards him." The foolish man said, "I consider all my ease and enjoyment to lie in not thinking of him. Also, I am not going to bother with things that make no sense to me. All these things are the confused objects of chance. They are happening by themselves. What is it to me?" His intelligent friend replied, "This obstinacy of yours will push me and a lot of others into disaster. It sometimes happens that a whole country is laid waste because of one ill-mannered person." So the foolish man turned to him and said, "Either prove to me decisively that this large country has a single lord and single maker, or leave me alone." His friend replied, "Your obstinacy has reached the degree of lunacy, and you will be the cause of some disaster being visited on us. So I shall show you 12 proofs, demonstrating that this world, which is like a palace, and country, which is like a town, has a single maker, and that it is only he who runs and administers everything. He is completely free of all deficiency. This maker, who does not appear to us, sees us and everything, and hears our words. All his works are miracles and marvels. All these creatures whom we see, but whose tongues we do not understand, are his officials. First proof. Come and look carefully at everything around you. A hidden hand is working within all these works. For something which is not even an ounce of strength, something as small as a seed, is raising a load of thousands of pounds.
This alludes to seeds, which bear trees on their heads.
And something that does not even have a particle of consciousness is performing extremely wise and purposeful works.
This indicates delicate plants like the grapevine, which themselves cannot climb or bear the weight of fruits, so throwing their delicate arms around other plants or trees and winding themselves around them, they load themselves onto them.
That means they are not working by themselves, but that a hidden possessor of power is causing them to work. If they were independent, it would necessitate all the works which we see everywhere in this land being miracles, and everything to be a wonder-working marvel. And that is nonsense. Come, look carefully at the things which adorn all these plains, fields, and dwellings. There are marks on each telling of that hidden one. Simply, each gives news of him like a seal or stamp. Look in front of your eyes. What does he make from 1 ounce of cotton?
This indicates a seed. For example, a poppy seed like an atom, the kernel of an apricot stone, and a tiny melon seed, produce from the treasury of mercy woven leaves finer than broadcloth, flowers whiter than linen, and fruits sweeter than sugar and more delicate and delicious than sweets and conserves, and they offer them to us.
See how many rolls of cloth, fine linen, and flowered material have come out of it? See how many sugared delights and round sweets are being made? If thousands of people like us were to clothe themselves in them and eat them, they would still be sufficient. And look, he has taken a handful of iron, water, earth, coal, copper, silver, and gold, and made some flesh out of them.
This indicates the creation of animal bodies from the elements, and living creatures from sperm.
Look at that and see. O foolish one, these works are particular to such a one, that all this land, together with all its parts, is under his miraculous power, and is submissive to his every wish. Third proof. Come, look at these mobile works of art. Each has been fashioned in such a way that it is simply a miniature sample of the huge palace.
This alludes to animals and humans. For since animals are tiny indexes of the world, and man is a miniature sample of the universe, whatever there is in the world, a sample of it is in man.
Whatever there is in the palace, it is found in these tiny mobile machines. Is it at all possible that someone other than the palace's maker could come and include the wondrous palace in a tiny machine? Also, is it at all possible that although he has included a whole world in a machine the size of a box, there could be anything in it that was purposeless or could be attributed to chance? That means that however many skillfully fashioned machines you can see, each is like a seal of that hidden one. Rather, each is like a herald or proclamation. Through their tongues of disposition, they are saying, "We are the art of one who can make this entire world of ours as easily and simply as he created us."